call this meeting to order, the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I start this meeting, I ask for a moment of silence for retired St. Charles police officer Pete Atkins, who passed away. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Paul Jenderski is absent. Jamie Kendall,
Present.
Michael Nesbitt,
Present.
Edgar Titoff,
Present.
Kathy Harris,
Present.
Darcy McSwain,
Present.
Jennifer Rosser Nesbitt.
Present.
Any adjustments to the agenda?
Letter E, West Walnut tree quotes. I have F, G, and H as well, but Parks meeting, we didn't have a quorum to move things forward, so we will be postponed until next Wednesday, and hopefully I can get it through and to you guys at our budget workshop for action, so we can be done. But we have 1, 2, 3 requests for the park to use the park throughout the summer. Car show. Hometown Days wants to move to coal miners. Jim Bott wants to host a bass fishing tournament, and Saginaw Be Well wants to have like a walk in the park, but they want access to food trucks, so they want permission. So we have Rebel Magnolia on the agenda tonight. We have 3 other requests to use the park. We have 3 scheduled baseball tournaments, so we'll be busy in St. Charles in the summer.
Fantastic. Motion to approve the agenda?
Support.
All those in favor? Those opposed? Any announcements, public comment?
I have a question. Do we have control over the billboards that go on the side of the road by the barber shop and right out of town?
No, we do
Is it
not.
MDOT?
Mm-hmm.
Just noticed they have a Hemlock Schools one there now in town.
Yeah, they've been buying up all the signs in this whole area. Saw one over by Chestnut.
Right
as
by the
well.
road, you're supposed to turn on and go to our school. There's a billboard that says, "Come to Hemlock School."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Yeah, it's big.
I'd say it's pretty obvious
Big
what
one.
they're trying to do there.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just wondered if we had we could have any control over what goes up there or not. At least they did change the one at the end of coming into town. Doesn't say you'll do better in Chesaning. It's the same dealership, but it's different words now.
It was up there for what, about 2 years
Up
at
there for a
least?
while.
Yeah.
I put that on the school district though. Our school district should be guarding that sign if it's in town.
Yeah.
You know.
Good question.
Spicer engineer report.
Surprised they're not here. I know they'll be here tomorrow for the planning commission. Mitchell and I are meeting with Adam Flory to go over our USDA rural development congressional appropriation, which is still intact. We got through Kilby's office, who didn't run again, but his staff have moved on to another congressional office to make sure if we have any problems, we can get those funds. There was a federal freeze on all federal dollars going to local governments, and that was quickly removed. So we should be good for the $1 million. Other than that, I sent you the email regarding the pre-bid meeting. 356 meters to go, and we should have the entire village, the service lines figured out and documented, so.
Fantastic.
You good on that? Council minutes approval for January 8th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Commission committee reports, Planning Commission for December 19th of 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the St. Charles Planning Commission, December 19th, 2024.
I'll support that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Parks and Recreation Committee for January 15th of 2025.
I'll make a motion to accept and file the St. Charles Parks and Recreation Committee meeting January 15th.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Downtown Development Authority, February 7th, 2025.
So what does Dr. Klein want to change the name to?
I don't know. He said he just wants to be on the news. For those, there's a new state law that basically you can change the name of your city or town very easily now through the Licensing and Regulatory Affairs Office. The premise was that villages or cities named Indian Town or Indian Village could change because of the negative connotation to Native Americans, and Dr. Klein jokingly said, well, let's change St. Charles and put ourselves on the map with a new name, come up with something clever. And sometimes those 7:30 Friday morning meetings are ruckus. I think Thurstonville was suggested.
Far off.
Just a couple.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting with the Downtown Development Authority.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Communications. Nothing there, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay. On to payment of claims.
If nobody has any questions, I will make a motion to approve the payment of claims in the amount of $82,172.57.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? New business. Item A, Rebel Mongolia market application.
A few years ago, Lauren from Rebel Company on Gratiot, they during COVID, they're up in Thomas Township. The park wouldn't let them have an event outside. We took them in, and we had 4,000 people in the village, which was our first trial run. Didn't know much about the parking situation. They had a little shuttle bus to the high school, but still, when you bring 4,000 people into a town of 2,000 people, it was a disaster. They've come back twice. I think the next time there was about 2,000 people, and then the time after that was about 1,500 people. They want to come back again. They've paid the $800, the $500 fee, and the $300 security deposit. Picked up trash. They're looking for May 9th, May 10th. It's a week after a travel ball tournament. They're looking at anticipated number of guests, 1,800 people. They've kind of worked on the parking with the shuttle and then parking out on Entrepreneur or Martin at McGeehan if they don't have a funeral, and walking the rail trail into the park. So there's been less congestion. They kind of do the VIP event Friday night to help as well. So they're looking to come back. I think the average adjustment on tips at the local restaurants the day of this event is above about $700, which local economy, good. The lifeblood of our society.
I'll make a motion, we allow the, Rebel, Magnolia Rebel to come in and do the 2-day event.
Absolutely. Yes, I support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item B, 126 East Maple Street.
I've been working with the Judds on their property. It was an abandoned road from decades and decades prior. They're trying to sell their home. They do have a buyer, but according to GIS, their house is all that is there. The driveway isn't there, and the garage. There's a photo there. If you want to pass that down. And the area we're discussing is this vacant road that, I know it was a road, I've been called out before on it. People who grew up here locally in the 60s could tell you the name of it, but it's been abandoned, but not legally through us, so we need to do something so that they can move forward and get on with their lives. So our attorney has drafted this resolution declaring abandonment of the road, resolution 25-3. And we did fix the declaration adoption certification on the back with Lucretia instead of Jennifer. So this will help them move on and get new owners in there and kind of fix that road, and we'll get it to county equalization, we'll get it to Lara, and we'll get it fixed in GIS.
I never knew that was there.
I never knew it was
Good to know.
Did we go to high school together?
No, I'm way older than you.
You should know it was there.
There's a few roads that have been in town here that I didn't know we had.
It's interesting.
I spoke with their realtor today, Mrs. Rapoon, and tomorrow morning we'll get them the signed documentation after this is approved, and that way they can sell.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 25-3.
I'll support.
Roll call.
Paul Jenderski is absent. Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Jennifer Rosser Nesbitt.
Yes.
Item C, fiscal year 2025-2026 draft budget handout only.
So here's the handout. I know some of you have already emailed with corrections that we need to make. Lucretia and I are going over those today, tomorrow. A couple little things, you know, that instead of, we call it a uniform allowance or instead of a boot allowance. Little changes in name, and then one, we're off on a fund based on a formula on the Excel spreadsheet that is an easy fix. This is one of the larger budgets that we've had in the village, and that's basically because of grant dollars. So you've got $1 million coming in this year, you've got a $1.2 million project the year after. So I redid the capital improvement plan, which is just a guide on purchases for the next 6 years. And it averages to about $1.1 million of investment in the village over the next 6 years, which is crazy for for a village this size to be doing all these projects. So it's a testament to you guys and your fiscal responsibility. Also sets up the employers and employees for, you know, the tools to succeed. And as we've discussed here, it puts them on a better pay scale than we've been on. But that's because we've been fiscally responsible with pensions and OPEB. We're finally in a more comfortable spot. We should get our annual evaluation next month, but with people retiring and people falling off the system, our numbers are much lower than, you know, you anticipate, which is good and bad, you know. So I think we should set the date for next Wednesday. As I said, Parks was postponed because of the lack of a quorum. So next Wednesday, we could go through line by line or any questions at 6:30, if that's okay with you. At 5:30, that means Park will go 5:30, 6:30, then we can start at 6:30. And if Parks has a quorum, we can get through the rest of these park applications and have those on there for you as well. But I wanted you to have at least some time to look at this. I know we really don't have to vote on it until March, as our fiscal calendar starts April 1. But it's a good budget.
You get a motion to set the date and time? I'll make a motion to set the budget hearing for next Wednesday at 6:30 PM. So I believe it's the 26th? Perfect. Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
26. Tapper's birthday. Gonna miss the party.
What time did you say?
6:30?
6:30.
That's alright. If you
Wednesday?
guys wanna go at 7, I'm good with that too. I'll be here. Whatever is easiest for everybody.
6:30 sounds good.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll be here, so.
Item E, West Walnut Street trees.
You have 2 quotes in front of you. There is a huge, and I mean huge, dead tree on West Walnut that the limbs are hanging over the road, going into the wires, trying to get consumers to, trying to get them to do it instead of us, but it is split to the point where it is going to hurt somebody very soon. And that's kinda, you know, you hate to be after the fact, but we go out looking for these things to try to prevent tragedy. And this is bad. Do you have a photo of that on your phone?
I don't have it anymore.
I'll send it to you tomorrow. It's just past the school, closer to the Bucks garage, but I mean it's
Oh, yeah.
this and it's split right down the middle.
Oh, really?
It's bad.
So it's gonna be a problem, and hopefully we can get to it soon and eradicate that potential issue. I mean, even if it cuts power to the school, it's better than down in the road and making someone swerve.
Yep.
But as far as the prices that we got, for the size of the tree, I was very pleased. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a big one. Like, hopefully we budgeted well in our tree repair for the remainder of the year, but we definitely can afford this through Act $51 from the state.
Looks like the only difference is Thurston's is not grinding the stump. Monks is gonna grind it.
Do you know why they're leaving the wood on site? Was that requested or?
They're taking the brush, we'll take the wood up.
Oh,
Okay.
gotcha, okay.
It saves money.
Yep.
And we can use a lot of that wood for Christmas parties and burn barrels and
Yeah.
we stock it in the back and that's how we make the fire pits and stuff like down, so.
Okay. Okay.
If we went with Monks, could we ask them to leave the logs and save $200?
Mhm.
Cause they quote 2,000 to cut the tree, 200 to remove the logs, and then grind the stump as 150.
He was supposed to do it both ways. If he didn't do it, we can
Okay.
get him to do that.
So I'm just, Thurston's doesn't have to grind the stump, that's the thing that's missing, so.
I stayed away from the bids just because of Travis.
Yep.
I call him, I get him to do it, and then I tell him just to drop everything at the office. I don't wanna see anything, I don't wanna
Yep.
have anything to do with it.
Totally get it.
I don't wanna have, and I let the other ones know that I'm Travis' cousin, and I don't have anything to do with the bids, so, so it's not. I actually had Tyler take Travis out and do it, so I didn't have anything to do with it.
Good guy.
I mean, does it look better if the stump's ground, or, I mean,
It's probably the way it should be done.
Yeah.
They were all told to give us a price, leaving the wood, taking the wood, and grinding the stump, and if they didn't do that, then they didn't do the whole bid.
Okay.
well. You're gonna charge them 150 to grind it.
Right, that's.
Even,
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Monk's Tree Service with leaving the logs to take $200 off.
and grinding
that
the
one is-
stump.
So to,
It's there.
so the
Yep.
stump is,
I'll take the brush, leave the logs.
Yep.
Tell them to do that.
grind the stump, so $2,150.
I'll support that.
A roll call for that?
Oh,
Paul Jenderski is absent. Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yeah.
Darcy McSwain,
yes.
Jennifer Rosser Nesbitt.
Yes.
Department reports, DPW.
Or somewhere. There we go. Okay, last month in water, we pumped 3,976,000 gallons. Sorry, so bright. Helped Spicer locate more shut-offs, spent time with Austin going over the water improvement plans. The communication on the tower went down several times, we had quite an issue last month. We've changed some computer boards, got it back online and working finally. And, changed some meters, one on North Street, one on Hosmer, and one on Graham, and had to take a water sample to Lansing. Sewer, we pumped 5,598,000 gallons. The streets, we plowed and salted as needed, hauled snow from uptown, took down Christmas lights and put them away for the season, removed Christmas trees from uptown, patched streets as needed, filled in small sinkhole on Chestnut, and got bids for the Walnut Tree Road. In the parks, we were able to pick up all the trash cans, replaced all the broken boards, and got those all repainted and put back. And then equipment, Elgin came out and did an inspection on the sweeper, which we've got the bids on that, and that's currently being fixed. We fixed the reverse pedal on the John Deere, fixed the salt spreader on the dump truck, kept truck and tractors clean as possible, took small sewer machine to Lansing to get fixed, and put new grader blades on the dump trucks. We responded to 10 service calls and 6 stickings.
Where was the sinkhole on Chestnut Street?
We think one of the, where they were doing the lines, boring them through for the new area over there. We don't know if it was just a hollow from that, or if we actually got a line sinking. It was just a little hole. We packed it full of stone, and it seems to be holding up, so we're gonna see how that goes, but
Okay.
we might have to cut out a piece right there and check it out further if it gets any worse, but
So there won't be any more problems with it, or?
we don't know. We're gonna find out. You know, I don't know if it was just because of the rain that we got there, or if it just was something that sunk. We'll see. It's holding up now, so we're gonna just kinda play it by ear.
Okay.
It wasn't anything huge, it was, well, that big.
Okay.
Police.
As I said last meeting, the January schedule would be something to really be proud of right now, because it's the first time since I've been here that I was able to get a shift covered on every day of the month. It was a hard time, but we got enough part-timers now to keep it going, so that the coverage should be up. In terms of coverage, the one thing to note is that Skylar has turned in her resignation. She's no longer with us. She was having some issues, with some calls and stuff that she had to go through, and just things that she didn't, it was tough. You know, I was worried about her getting exposure with us being such a smaller department and not having a lot of calls, when she ended up getting a lot all at once. And I think it was a lot for her to handle, along with the switching to a night shift schedule. It just was a lot for her. Her living facilities right now is with her in-laws, well, not in-laws yet, but her fiance's parents, and they are up during the day when she's trying to sleep and couldn't sleep, and she's having trouble staying awake, and it all came all at once for her, I think, and so she decided to step down for now, until she maybe can get a house and maybe try back again. We'll see what happens, but, as of right now, she's no longer with the department.
She's not the one that was just out of your academy, is she?
Mhm. Yep.
Oh.
Yep. So we do have the reimbursement going with that, so we've already gave her that. We're waiting for her to come in and turn her stuff in, and we'll go from there, but. So, in terms of that position, I've gone back and forth on, do I hire just a couple more part-timers to make it, you know, so we can cover those stuff like that, or do we try to hire somebody else? The hiring pool is not the biggest right now. And then if you take part-timers, are you gonna be able to get them to work? It's still going back and forth on what I actually wanna do. I do have a posting up for a full-time position that's vacant and available, accepting applications. I've gotten one so far. Called the former employee of his, a chief in town here, and I don't know if it's something that we're gonna look into, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, but, I don't know. I've talked with Hart about that. We're both kind of on the fence of what we wanna do in terms of how we wanna fill the position. I've got one guy that's working really good part-time hours now. I've had a couple more inquiries about part-time work. It could go that route, which could leave us, you know, less of a hit on insurance and in retirement systems and stuff like that, but then you're juggling a schedule every month based on who can work what, so. I guess I'll wait and see what I get for those applications. So, in terms of the activity, you can see the number of, with the amount of coverage we're getting, the amount of stops is up, and the amount of citations is way up, than what it has been in the past, but that comes with having more coverage hours, as well as the numbers of call for service. I think as of today, not even through 2 months of the year, we're already at 100 reports. You know, and typically, I guess for last year we hit 600, that was a lot. And we're probably gonna blow that out of the water if we're already at 100 reports within not even the first 2 months, so. Just, it comes with the territory of having more coverage hours. You're gonna be there to get the calls that are there that we would normally miss, because we don't have the coverage, so. Those numbers I expect to go up throughout the year.
There's a call in here, I just had a question.
Yep.
No eye protection, what would it call?
Which one, what page you at? 4?
Yeah, page 2 or 5. Yeah, traffic, no eye protection, I just kind of was wondering what.
Yeah, I saw that, and I looked up the ticket, and for some reason, it's for no insurance. It's supposed to say,
Okay.
it's supposed to say no, what's the verbiage that it uses? Yeah, but it has nothing to do with eye protection, though. It's for no insurance. I saw that too, and I got a note there, I scratched it out, and it said no insurance on it. I wasn't sure what that was too.
Okay.
So, yeah, you weren't the only one.
Okay.
For the the animal cruelty in town, that was for the gentleman that was in the accident and was in jail and left his dogs there. So the animal control came and did that one. And that was one of the calls that, when I talk about Skylar, that was one of the calls that her first big event call was going to that car crash and seeing the female there. And it, you know, it was a lot for somebody that's brand new like that. We always try to work them in slowly, but it was just like, you know, and it was 2 days later, she was at another one, and then 2 days another one. I kinda jokingly called her the crypt keeper for a little bit, but, you know, yeah.
Does the fire department still do, briefings? Cause I know when I was on the police department, we would go over to the fire department after that type of thing and.
She was in counseling, we got her in counseling, we got numbers for her to call, and she ended up having her own counselor, and she was going to counseling once a week with a counselor. And that started to help, but then the sleep schedule kinda really wore on her, where she, you know, there was times where she was staying with Taya in town here, some nights, and, you know, she just, I think there's just a lot of ones, a lot more than what she
She's young.
expected.
Yeah.
She wasn't sleeping, like she could see that body right as she's trying to fall asleep.
Mhm.
Oh,
She come in one day and are you okay? You just tell a look on her face that she was drained. She wasn't sleeping, she couldn't sleep. It's hard enough to switch your schedule like that, but let alone to have people in the house all day while you're trying to sleep. It's tough. So, there wasn't really any other major calls. We had the turfing incident at the school, minor damage for that. Couple domestics, not much for those. The Hosmer call where somebody ran over the poles, which we talked about that at the last meeting. Incorrigible child's at the school, in the STEP program, we've been dealing with those quite a bit. There's one student in particular we're dealing with a lot. I did 9 pistol permits last month. Those are steadily staying on a regular basis. And in terms of calls back, last year we had the MDOP to the park where the boat got tagged by some spray paint and several other things got tagged by spray paint. That actually went through court. We received a compensation check from the suspects and that to pay for the paint. And I don't know if it was for some of the wages, but I think it was just for the paint, wasn't it?
I think we went after the paint. I think
Yeah,
they're
because the paint was
underage.
expensive, but yeah.
Yeah, it was the paint.
Yeah, we did,
taught him a lesson.
Yeah.
but we did get
They
our
wanted
payment
that
back for
again.
the paint that we used for that, so. Whatever happened with the rest of it, I don't know, that was Parks and Rec stuff, so I don't know, but we did get a check back for compensation for what we had to pay for the
They
cleanup.
don't be in their room 20 times.
The bathroom gigs, well, it was the boat, and, I think it was the bathroom, yes, but then it was the bathroom and lumberjack, and they did stuff along the park,
Trail.
rail trail, yeah,
Alright.
so. I think that's all I got for right now. Taya's doing well, happy with what she's doing in her night shift. School's an everyday battle, like it always is, but Michelle works good, really good in there, she does well, so. Any questions?
Brian seems to be doing great on the weekends when we see him.
He's
Getting them down Mill
very,
Street, I like it.
everybody sees him, he's out there a lot, doing stops and making the lights known, and
Perfect.
that's what he does. That's why I brought him in here, is so he can have that presence, and he does do that, the numbers show it, so.
I love it.
I got a lot of compliments from his work on West North there. A couple of people have called in and messaged the Facebook page saying, thanking us for all the presents that we've had over there, so.
Yeah.
Pass it on, keep going.
Yep.
Good job.
I say thank you.
Me too.
Just need to do something with the snowmobile.
Building inspector, code enforcement.
Sorry.
Hello, everyone.
Down
Oh, Mr. Clifford.
For the month of January, we had 2 electrical permits issued. We have the one complaint still going on Main Street, and I'm gonna have to re-notify that. It looks like we're gonna be going back to court, because I haven't seen any movement on that.
I don't think he's feeling well.
Our friendly home on Flint Street, I'm gonna have to restart that again as well. I did get a couple complaints for trash gondolas in town that I need to discuss with Hart and see where we're gonna go with those. They're actually on our property, they're overflowing, but they aren't our gondolas. Kathy's got a couple for me that I wanna check into. Also on
West Maple Street, the GIS system that we have, the property lines are all skewed. A lot of the parcels on the north side in the first 2-3 blocks on West Maple show the property lines cutting houses in half, putting someone's garage on another property, putting 2 homes on one parcel. So we have a property owner there that wants to build a new home, and we had to have them get a survey done so that we could actually determine where the lines actually are. We are using that survey in conjunction with Saga GIS to adjust the property lines, because that survey actually found the property stakes, took measurements from the neighboring properties, buildings to those actual property lines, and they will use that to adjust all the lines. So in the next couple of weeks, we should see that change in the GIS system, so. That's about it.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
No, if there was no road there, that's the way you do it. If there's a road, you got to bid. It takes a little bit more time.
Right.
Any public comments?
I just came here to, want to recognize, the police department and the security cameras that we have on the rail trail. Second year going, and we have not had any, snowmobiles on the rail trail. And, the only improvements, the only thing that has changed has been, we've had the girl or the officer embedded in the school system and, the security cameras. So whoever donated security cameras, good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I noticed a couple of months ago, Butch Smith, as a matter of fact, I noticed a couple of months ago, just for this one instance I'm referring to, that there was a dead raccoon laying in front of the park on the highway. And that's not the only place there's been dead animals in this town to speak of. And I'm just curious if we could dump a little bit more work on the shorthanded Department of Works and have them clean up the animals. It's not very good looking when you have dead coon, dead dogs, dead cats, squirrels. I know if it happens in my front yard, it's gone, I bury it. Unless it's somebody's dog, then I try to find out. But I do think it'd help the village a little bit, cause that raccoon, he's still there someplace. The snowplow probably threw him off into the flower bed there. So I do think that we should have some kind of a crew going along. I mean, everybody's in town all the time, they know who to contact. So.
What's your phone number?
DR 549.
Is that?
We try to keep the deer.
Probably. I mean, not that we can't. Yeah.
I remember my first time, there was like a dead animal in the back, and had my windows down in summer.
That's a good job.
Light, and the smell comes in the window. So that's when I
Tyler,
learned, like,
nice
nope,
big
windows
bucket.
up, you go get it.
That'd be a good
Did that
job for
for a
you.
whole summer.
Get you on a roadkill detail.
He dumps them off in your front yard.
And they would all be in my front yard, right on my steps. Yes, sir.
To say except one thing, we're the judge at 126 East.
Hold up.
Maple Street. I said, we're the judge at 126 East Maple Street. I just wanna thank Mr. Hart and my realtor Connie Rapone and any attorneys that were involved in this to help me get out of that mess I was in. I could not possibly sell that property without Mr. Hart and my attorney and my realtor. So I just wanna say thanks to people for helping us out of this mess. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
We should have them sign it tonight and give them a copy.
Nobody else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.